We are going to get to these points in a second, but I have a little thing I like to do, all right? There's a new host in the middle of the table. We're going to go back around the circle. We're going to get everyone's names just so we get a bit more familiar, all right? So we're going to start here. We're going to work our way around. What's your name, my friend?
Hello, my name is Jack.
Jack.
Naomi.
Naomi.
Georgie.
Georgie.
Andy.
Andy.
Lola.
Lola.
Tanya.
Tanya.
Soliana.
Sonia. Yeah.
Alex.
Alex.
Kemi.
Kemi.
Dabman.
Dabman. All right. Whoa. We're going to make a pretty good band one day, guys. I tell you, that was a nice introduction to everybody there. Feel free, people on the back, come take a seat. This is Talkaoke. It is a pop-up talk show. We've been talking about all sorts today, haven't we? Now, I know we were talking. Somebody wanted to pick up a point earlier on. Who are we going to come to? Yes, my friend. It's left him again. The pressure gets you. Don't worry.
I got it.
Okay.
If humans found out how to make an actual real life looking robot,
Yeah.
if you put that in a school and did not tell them it was a robot,
Okay.
and they did not figure it out, how much would you? Well, there'd be a pretty big chance that it might not.
So who would
Like
figure
if
it out?
somebody hacked
Is
it.
this like a child robot? Or like an adult
Let's just
teacher
say
robot?
You make a robot. I don't know what size, but then you put it in a school,
I like it.
and then you do not tell them that it's a robot. They think it is a human,
Oh.
and they start playing with it. It goes on the playground. I don't know.
Well, let's throw this out. Do you think you could tell the difference if you were on the playground, let's say, or playing a game with a person or a robot? Do you think you could tell?
I definitely think you would actually be able to tell, because a human has a more emotional side, but robots are more logic because they have specific coding and programming, so they make logical, rational decisions. Where humans, we do have logic, but we also add emotion to the mix. So I think by the way robots would speak, you would be able to tell if they were a robot or a human.
Interesting. Now, we're going to come over here, yeah?
Well, I'm just thinking to what was said about like trusting robots in a playground with children. That's something I probably
Some
wouldn't.
safeguarding concerns there, perhaps. Just maybe.
Yeah, like I mean, there could be some risks with like people who are a bit weird and they may have hidden a camera in a certain robot. That would be a big safety concern, especially coming to like children and teenagers, I think.
Yeah, let's come over here.
Well, the whole thing about can you tell whether it's a robot or not, the thing about emotions is that you can build a robot that fakes emotions. Of course, the robots we interact with today, like Alexa, you can easily tell it's a robot, you know, but in a few decades, they could probably build a robot that could simulate emotions, that could fake it. And so in that case, how would you tell? Maybe you wouldn't be able to. And then that comes back to the question, is that robot now a person? Because you can't tell.
Good point. I'm going to come to my main man over here.
Two things.
Okay, it's a double whammy. Brace yourself, people.
First thing, second thing I can't remember. First thing.
That's all right. It happens. Don't worry, my friend.
Let's say, if they there's another way to stop the finding out if it is a robot. If you make sure that if it gets hurt, it still makes an owl noise, then you can't figure it out. Because like, let's say everybody on the planet is annoying each other.
Are we going? Before you go, just wait for 1 second. We'll get a final thought. All right? That's okay. Finish your point.
Like
We'll be 1 second. We'll be 1 second. Wait there, my friend. So if it pricks its finger, does it say ow?
If it could fake getting hurt, it would practically be impossible unless you turn
it'd be
off
impossible. Right, we're going to come back to that point, but before we do, let's get a final thought.
What thought would you like?
You could whatever you like. So we're
All right,
about today. Where you
one
going
for you.
next?
Do you think robots and technology be able to replicate creativity?
All right, I'm going to pass you this. You could just drop the mic right now and walk away. That was a mad moment right there.
I'm had enough as well, and I'm going to reveal I've secretly been a robot this entire time.
Oh, God! Pick the mic back up and drop it again. All right, we're going to bring it here.
I'm going to go back to the question, how can you tell if it's a robot or a person? And I'm saying you can't really tell if it's a robot or a person, but I'd say you kind of could because the way it acts like she said.
Well, I've just said we've had a robot at the table the whole time. Nobody knew it, did
like
they?
The way,
Nobody
like
knew.
the way she acts, like he or she, like it normally moves slowly, while because we have bones, we can move quickly. But they are robots, so they're like built in mechanic.
Yeah.
So they like move slowly.
So
like
maybe
we
the
do.
movements will give away that notion. I'm going to come over here. We've got another point over here. Yeah.
There's lots about kind of the voice that would make it unnatural
a lot
too.
about the voice today.
So things like Siri and Alexa and things, you can clearly tell by it's really hard to program the way you intonate every word in a sentence. So if you say, so each word in the sentence goes up or down in a certain way depending on what the rest of the sentence is, which is really hard to code because
So
it's
there's
quite
like a weird sort of
unpredictable.
grammatical structure to the
It's a kind of
sentence
grammatical structure that it's kind of intonation that's not really a rule, but that's kind of really natural,
We're getting
and
deep
robots wouldn't really be able to replicate that, which is why Alexa and Siri sound very
robotic,
and
yeah.
uncute. So you
Come sit down, come join us. We're talking about, do you think you could tell the difference? Now everyone's welcome. Look, 1, 2, 3 chairs. Let's give everyone a round of applause. Come sit down, come sit down. Come on, come sit down. All right. So, yeah, it'd be hard to tell, couldn't it? Yeah.
I think that it would be extremely hard to tell because of the voice. Because if the robot was going live from a different person with the voice to connect, the voice would be it would hear exactly the same as you on the phone with someone else. So if people were going with robots as a job live as a voice, then I don't think people will be actually telling that the other person's a robot by their voice.
Yeah,
So it
no.
wouldn't really be fair.
That's a good point. Now, we're going to come to you in a second. We've got a new face at the table. What's your name?
Sachi?
Sachi, lovely to meet you. This is Talkaoke. My name's Will. We're talking about a lot today, guys, haven't we? All right, we've been on a bit of a journey, I tell you. All right, it's been getting deeper points. It's been getting emotional. At the minute, we're talking about robots, aren't we? We're talking about if we were face to face with a robot, do we think we could tell the difference between a human and a robot? Now, we were just talking about the way they speak a little bit, weren't we? Now, we're going to come back and get your thoughts in a second. But we're going to come over here first of all.
Well, actually, robots can copy people. So let's
What,
say,
like clones?
they can copy another person.
Oh, okay.
Also, if you put the DNA of somebody else, this will probably not happen in a few other million years. But like, if you put the DNA of somebody into the robot and it registers that, it could actually replicate that person's
So we're
voice.
talking about taking someone's DNA, putting it in a robot, and making a robotic clone of that person.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now I'm going to throw it out. Has anybody got any thoughts on this? What do we think about this, people? Any thoughts? Any thoughts? Right. We're going to come here. Yeah.
You won't be able to put a human's DNA in a robot because there's also wires, so it could crash.
There is also wires. What do we think? What I'm going to come over. What do you think? Do you think this is ethical? Do you think this is good to do?
In terms of ethics, okay.
I really put you on the spot with this one. I'm not going to lie.
Cloning, for me, cloning in general, cloning animals, it's a very difficult process biologically, and personally, I don't think it's really natural. I mean, there are obviously reasons in which organisms would need to be cloned for medicine and stuff like that, so when it's used for something good, but for me, for robotics, cloning just doesn't seem like something that's, like, unless it doesn't have any applications in, say, medicine or bettering the world for other people, then...
So unless it has a beneficial sort of factor to it, then maybe it's not worthwhile in that sense. Maybe the ethics don't ignite it, yeah.
I disagree with Kemi because
Oh, okay. Don't worry. You look like you threw some shade on you there, but don't worry, we're going to hear him out. It's okay.
I disagree with Kemi because you can put a blood in a special box inside the robot so it can suck up the DNA.
Oh,
so it can
okay,
act
all
like
right.
the person.
So not quite disagreeing with there, but saying that actually maybe fusing robots and DNA together is potentially possible. What an age we live in, yeah.
Technically, I think that if a robot can act the way as a human, because I've just thought of how if you say you video something on your phone,
Yeah.
the phone has a memory, so you can play it over and over and over again, and it will show that exact image. So if the robot can do that, or if it can just scan how a human emotionally acts to something, I think that the robot has the memory to replay that again and become like a person, and you will never notice.
Okay, what do you think? Would you like a robot clone of yourself? If you had the choice, yeah, no? What do you think?
No,
No, why not?
no, it's too freaky for my friends and everyone. No.
All right, come sit down. That's what we're talking about. Get involved. What about yourself? What do you think? Do you think we should have them? Do you think we shouldn't? Should we do away with robots? What are your thoughts?
I don't think we should do away with them completely, because they can help with healthcare in terms of like looking after older people and stuff like that.
Interesting. All right. So, what do you think when you get older? You got an idea, Jack?
So, I think we're making a lot of the negative effects of robotics and technology, and the fact is that most of what we do right now, a lot of what we do right now, is affected by technology in a very positive way. For example, if I was to ask you to find out what the capital of France was, most of you would probably know that, but if you didn't, you could pull out a phone from your pocket and find out straight away, right? If you were in hospital for some reason, there are so many intense technological processes within those hospitals that fix you. You know, like, there's so much that's positive and great about artificial intelligence and technology that we have that we just ignore, and instead we sensationalize and say, what if the robots kill us? Well, I don't think they will.
Well, would you trust would you trust going to the doctors and finding out it was a robot? Would you feel safe? Would you feel secure? Or would you rather a human be there?
As you said, like, in hospitals there are like loads of machines, but I was just thinking about when a criminal or an outlaw commits a crime, there's a lot of things that the human eye cannot see, but they rely on a lot of robots or technology to see those things.
Oh, like CCTV?
Yep.
Yeah.
And without those, our world would be so unsafe, because say if someone speed drives and crashes into another person, they won't know who that person is if they just run off. So with CCTV all over the country, everyone can see what's going on, and everyone can like focus on who did it, and they can tell them off or punish them, so everyone knows not what to do. But without those things, I think that a lot of people would think there's loads of ways to just get away with it. So technology.
Okay, so maybe technology keeps us in check a little bit more. Whoa, it's getting deep. Oh yeah, what are you saying, my man?
I think.
Wait, before you go, give us one final thought. Are you staying? Are you shooting off?
I have to go.
Yeah, give us one final thought before you go, though.
Do robots have a negative side and a positive side?
Oh, okay, getting deep. Dropping it. Are you going as well?
Yeah.
Drop us on a final thought. Hit us up. What are you thinking? Hey, what are you doing next? It doesn't have to be about what we spoke about. Give me something fun. What do you want to do?
What do I want to do?
If you could have one wish right now, what would your wish be?
I have a wish that I could get any food I want and go on holiday.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, one of those might be achievable because the food here is phenomenal, all right? But I wish you the best day. Have a fantastic time, all right? And thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you very much, guys. Are you staying? You shooting up as well?
Yeah,
You staying? Yeah, give us one final thought as well. Come on, get in there.
I think robots can kill us because they can carry around weapons because they're made out of metal, so they can craft themselves into weapons.
Yeah. In fact, there's a film called The Terminator. It's very much about that, people. It's a right scary film, all right? Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day, guys. So, well, yes, my friend.
Well, if we made a human-like robot and then all the humans died, doesn't matter about the cost, then the robots might actually live on if they have
Potentially,
AI.
yeah. So, well, what do we think, guys? Do we want to carry on with this robots talk? Do we want to carry on down this avenue, or do we want to open it out to something else? Yeah, what do you want to talk about?
The apocalypse.
The apocalypse. The apocalypse?
The Acropolis.
Yeah, don't worry, it's a tricky one to say, that, isn't it?
Yeah,
The
okay,
Acropolis,
I don't know.
alright? Sounds like a really corny parody film of the apocalypse, that one. But yeah, so the end of the world, Ragnarok, as some people may call it. What do we think about this? Naomi's going in straight in on this.
Speaking to physicists and stuff like that, they've told me that the Earth is going to be pretty much inhabitable, okay, for the next within 200 years. So we obviously have to see in terms of colonizing Mars. Personally, I don't think using the word colonizing Mars is a really good thing, but I think we have actually ruined the Earth a lot. And space as well. I mean, obviously we're learning more about space and about different planetary objects and stuff like that. But as we're researching, we're also putting damaging things in space as well. So I think we need to figure out more renewable energy sources, because obviously you have different types of energy. You have energy from fossil fuels and energy from nuclear fuels, and both have their positives and their negatives.
That is some brilliant points. Now, we are going to come back and explore that in a second, yeah. We're going to hold full pause on that, just because we've had quite a few new faces join the table. And we're going to have one more come and join us, that's right. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Get in on the table. All right, now, first of all, I think we should do another whip round, get some names around the table so everyone's familiar. We're going to start here. What's your name, my friend?
Dabman.
Dabman, what's your name?
His father.
His father, Dabman's father, great name, Mr. Dabman. No, that's okay. Dabman's sister.
Yes, my sister. Dabman's mom.
Sharon.
Sharon.
Sachi.
Naomi.
The person sitting to the left of Dabman.
Brilliant. Okay, so might get a bit confusing with Dabman's many relatives and friends and acquaintances. All right, we've spoken about a lot today. This is Talkaoke. It's a pop-up talk show. You can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, but at the moment, Dabman brought up the apocalypse, okay, or as he calls it, the Acropolis, all right? And we've been talking about it a little bit. Naomi raised a great point saying about how apparently scientists said in 200 years the planet's going to end, all right? So we've been looking at maybe colonising Mars, but in our efforts to go and research out of space, maybe we're doing quite a lot of damage as well using nuclear fuels and fossil fuels. So how do you go about sort of exploring this space atmosphere safely? Is that about right, Naomi? Yeah? So what do we guys think? Do we think the apocalypse is nigh? Do we think it's the end of time? What do you think, Dabman's dad, Mr. Dabman? Any thoughts?
It's a tricky question.
I know, I'm putting you on the spot here, I'll tell you.
Immediately. No, I think we have a bit more than a few hundred years. I don't know how long that would be, but for sure the planet's going to end at some point. Yeah.
Do you think there's anything we can do as a race to prevent this from ending? What do we think? Yeah. I like that positivity. Say it with a smile. Yeah, enjoy it.
I just think in terms of sustainability, there's a lot of stuff companies and people and different communities are doing as well. I think the future generation feel like it's their responsibility to sort of clean up after our mess. And I know I've got nieces back home in Kenya, and they were by the beach on holiday, and they saw loads of plastic straws on the beach, and they felt like it was up to them to clean it all up because nobody else would. So I feel like in terms of that, people are teaching kids differently. The problem is actually closer than we think. And there's more individuals can do to help.
How do you think we've got a point of view.
I think we all should stop eating meat.
Oh, okay, all right, we're throwing out there.
What do you think?
Well, hey, I'm going to turn the back of the mirror on you. What do you think? Why do you think we should stop eating meat?
Because I think that we use, for example, to make a hamburger, you use so much water in comparison to, for example, eating grains or eating vegetables.
All right, well, I'll throw it out. What do you guys think? Do you think we should stop eating meat? Do you agree?
Often we make the argument that it's very natural to eat meat, and where that may or may not be true, the fact is that these days we have commoditized eating meat, so much so that it takes up all of the resources that you say. It takes up water, it takes up energy, it takes up so much. And actually what happens is that people cows, pigs, whatever, get genetically modified to be so massive that they're not actually natural at all, and so the whole natural argument then falls apart.
Eating corn and all this other crap.
Okay. What are your thoughts, my friend? You're sat there, you're contemplating, you're deep in thought.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? Do you eat meat?
I'm feeling quite nervous to speak something on my...
Don't worry, Talkaoke is a safe space.
By the way, I'm
Alright.
a vegetarian, so...
You're vegetarian?
Yeah, because I'm from India and my whole family is vegetarian.
Ah, okay.
So-
Is there any reason why? It's just because your family's vegetarian, so you
I
sort
think
of...
my family taught me not to eat meat because we love animals.
Ah, good point. So
and
maybe not so
I
much
have
around...
cow as my pet.
Oh, wow.
And also a
Alright.
dog.
Do you know, I'm a little bit jealous. I had a cat. I mean, cat, cow. I mean, I can't have been outdone there. Thanks for showing me up on that one. But,
my
you know.
cow is not at my home. We have made a shed for our cow at our at some other place, and yeah. So I think like if we have alternatives like plants or vegan things, so that can save lives of many animals being killed. And yeah, I think in the very worst case, like beer grills or man versus wild, you should go for eating anything.
Okay. Now we've got a new face at the table. Snapchat over here. What are you saying? What is your name, my friends?
My name is Akram Zain.
Akram Zain, lovely to meet you. At the minute we're talking about meat. Come join us. Come sit down. Do you eat meat? Do you eat meat? We're talking about meat at the moment. Do you eat meat? Yeah. Okay. We're talking about should we give up eating meat to save the planet? What do you think? Yeah. Don't worry.
Cut down.
All right. We should cut down. Maybe.
Yeah,
Why should we cut down?
It's better for the environment, it's better for your health. I'm not saying stop eating meat completely because it's impossible for some people to do, and it's actually kind of mean to tell them that. But
do we think it's
should cut down
Uh,
a lot?
Take a seat. That's what we're talking about. Come, there's seats everywhere. Come take a seat. Do we think this is like an addiction then? Do we think meat's like smoking? Do you think?
There's also so much food inequality, and I think if everyone stops eating meat, you can feed the whole world.
Oh, okay. No, that's okay. Not a problem.
Where is this being filmed?
Don't worry. This is just from these TV screens. All right. You're not going to make prime time news tonight. All right. Don't panic. No one's going to be going. Oh, see that girl saying about not eating meat. Don't worry. It is okay.
Is it going to be published on a news channel?
This is my main man Rick here behind the camera.
Yes.
All right. It might be online, but don't worry. All right. You're not going to show up on like BuzzFeed at the next article like 10 vegans to Target or something like that. It's going to be fine. Okay. Don't worry. So, what do you think? Do you want to carry on talking about meat? Oh yeah, Naomi's got a point.
Okay. I think I agree that meat should be really cut down, and I mean personally, like I eat meat, not a lot, but like I don't need to eat meat. I can live without eating meat, so it isn't really that deep. However, there are some people, like few people, who need meat as a source of protein. So for those people, like, what's the other alternative?
So meat is our source of protein in society. Is it what are the sources? Great question, Naomi. Though, where else can we get protein from?
You could eat tofu.
Tofu?
It's a great source of protein.
Would you rather eat meat or tofu? What is your choice?
Tofu.
Tofu. Okay. All right. Mrs. Dabman's very happy over there. She's like, yeah, let's do it. All right. Any other thoughts? What are you thinking?
Well, to be honest, my thoughts on meats only changed recently because I found out a fact about the herding of animals and how much how much land they use to eat grass. And other than that, in terms of human population, it's not our population that is worrying. It's a population of the animals that we consume that's actually the worrying fact. And to be honest, in terms of climate change and other than that, I definitely think it's an awareness thing that everyone should understand, because obviously from my family, meat was a normal thing to eat and other than that, but they didn't understand the detrimental fact of how much they're consuming and what effects it has. So if they knew that, I definitely think there would be a slight cut down and maybe an alternative route being sought.
So where do we start? Where do we start this sort of crusade to stop meat eating? Does it start with education? Does it start with mandating the government? All right. So how do we introduce that into education then? What do we think we should do?
So, no, I think it's a necessity to educate people about the effect of eating so much meat.
Okay. So you should make it part of the national curriculum then?
Yeah.
Well, there's a very big push, or it's a very big vested interest that is concerned with actually trying to promote meat and milk and what have you, right? So, and that's where it all starts. That prohibits the dissemination of information, and also has
that's a good point. Do we stop at just meat, or do we stop with any animal-related product?
No, I think it's awareness of why you're taught certain things and why other things aren't necessarily on the agenda.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like whatever culture or wherever you come from, one thing everyone does care about is the next generation, you know, and the generations after that. And the way we're going, we're actually damaging the next generation, the other generations to actually maybe have the same experience that we had. And to be honest, if it means cutting down on our plates a week or cutting down maybe yearly rates or understanding about it more, I definitely think that would be, of course.
I think we need to move away from telling people that we need meat and actually telling them that it's okay if you have a little bit. I think the problem is that we're telling people they need it rather than actually telling them it's okay if you have a little bit, because it's terrible for you if you have it in large quantities. But the fact that we tell people you need to eat meat and dairy for a healthy, balanced diet, what they do is they stack up on the meat and focus on the meat because it tastes good, and they're like, yeah, I'm getting all these proteins. By the way, proteins are found in literally every single plant-based product. You can get a full, complete diet from having a plant-based diet and then adding in supplements like B12 to substitute the one thing that you get from red meat. And yeah, moving away from this like idea that meat is health, but actually saying, fine, have a little bit of meat, that's okay, because we can't live without.
Do you think we should start regulating meat then, saying like one customer, one steak? Is that the rule that's going to come into force here?
To be honest, at the end of the day, like, for example, cigarettes maybe like 50, 60 odd years ago was actually advertised, you know? It was actually promoted that cigarettes is a cool thing to do and it's just part of society to smoke, or it's just the norm or whatever. But I definitely think in terms of consuming meat, it would definitely mean like knowledge, education, you know? Like to understand that what affects like consuming, because at the end of the day, red meat, consuming too much red meat, it's bad to it. You'll probably get a blood clot by 30, you know? Like, if you consume so much red meat, like, it's not a good thing whether you like it or not. You're actually damaging your health. And if it was to be educated as if it was, like, as effective as cigarettes, for example, I definitely think there would be a change.
Right, okay.
How about taxation?
Taxation? So what, taxing meat?
Yeah, well, if you consider the impact...
Well, you drop the T-bomb, alright? I'm just saying, you drop that T-bomb, everyone's going to start cringing. I'm going to come over here,
Yeah, I was just on the last point. Not on the tax
carry on.
I think it's right that we need to... you can still get all the protein and stuff you need from a plant-based diet, and that people still would want to have a bit of meat in their diet, because a lot of people like their meat, but you need to like go into it gradually. So in my school we're having meat-free Mondays.
Oh, that's good. And then coming into education again,
slowly, so slowly you can get people to eat less and less meat rather than just straight away telling people not to, because a lot of people kind of, it's like
it's sort of like a rehab for meat, isn't it? Like weaning them off the meat a little bit. I'm going to go back to Mr. Dabman over here, right? Because honestly, that tax meat is an interesting one, all right?
It's not even taxation. Now it's subsidized, right? So everybody pays because the subsidies that go to the farmers. So how does that make sense? So why is meat so cheap? Because it gets subsidized.
Yeah.
And what does it do? Well, it damages the planet and the next generation. So conceptually, why do we all want to contribute to that?
I agree, 100%. My parents, for example, they have a lot of meat in their diet, like not just meat, obviously, other than like chicken and fish, like it's all part of the whole cycle. But in terms of red meat like itself, like maybe the last 10 years we have as a family cut down, because obviously the understanding of how damaging red meat is to your diet on a regular basis wasn't actually there. So it's just an education thing for me, definitely.
Do you think we're culturally changing away from meat? I know veganism is a big push at the moment, and you know there's a lot of places going on.
There are lots of people trying to be really cool by going vegan or vegetarian. And it's a trend, and it's one of those trends which are actually really good. So there are some trends which just are pointless or even dangerous. There was a trend recently, the 24-hour challenge. You have to stay in the supermarket or something overnight, which is really dangerous.
Yeah, because you'll be surrounded by meat. That's never good. That's never good.
One child didn't tell their parents they were doing it and stayed there, and their parents called the police, and there was a whole thing about it. They were just doing a challenge. But
it's like a good thing maybe.
So it's a good trend. It wasn't one of those trends that's actually really good. So it's good that it's becoming like a cool thing to do.
We're talking about viral trends. What do you think? Would you guys try going vegan? What about you, Oscar? I know you were at the table earlier. Would you try going vegan? What are your thoughts? You're vegan, so no meat, all right? No animal-based products, no fish.
No eggs.
No eggs. No bacon sandwich in the morning. Come sit down, tell us about it. Come on, David. Come on, Mia. Come on, Oscar. Come back to the table, all right? We're talking about veganism, all right? Are you guys shooting off? Is all this talk about food made you guys hungry? Is that what it is? I knew it was. Let me get one final thought from the Dabman family, all right? Let's get one final thought. What are you saying?
I don't want to go.
Yeah. Do you know what? We're here tomorrow. Come back.
Stop driving cars.
That's a truth bomb and a half, all right? Okay, mate. We might come back to that and explore it a little bit
What if
more.
you have to cycle to Scotland? How are you going to get to Scotland if you can't drive a car?
Cargo bike, a Dutch cargo bike. All three of them sit in the bike with me.
Kate, come sit down, tell us about it. Kate and Jack, you thought you were going Dabmans, but you're not. You're in it. It's like Family Feud up in here. All right, what's happening, Kate?
We need to make trains cheaper.
Okay.
I live a long way away. It's cheaper for me to drive to London than it is to come by train, and it's tragic and it's wrong. The trains, I've been trying to, I don't do short haul flights. I'll do a long haul flight, but I try not to do any short haul flying. For me to travel to Madrid, say, I was going to go to my friend's, it was going to cost me £450 by train. It's like a 50 quid flight. The environmental difference on those two things, they should be representative. Aviation fuel should be taxed. It's not in this country. Terrible thing. It means we get cheap flying, and it's a massively impactful climate change issue.
All right, I'm going to whip round the table on this one, all right? I want to get everyone's thoughts. If things are dangerous to the environment, whether that's meat, whether that's aviation tax, whatever it is, do you think we should charge more for it if it harms the environment? I just want a yes or no, just get an idea. What do you think, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
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 Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should look for other alternatives, like other.
Okay, so maybe not charge more, but look for other alternatives.
Yeah, maybe spend more money in research for discovering new fuels or new, as we said, I guess.
Yeah. Let's carry on with the yes or no. Let's get the yes or no. It's getting heated. This is what we like, people. All right, but let's carry on with the yes or
Yes.
no. Yes.
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 Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. But can I say something?
All right. Okay. Now,
Just because you're at the end.
I'm gonna pause for a second. All right. First of all, guys, let's just remember. All right. 2 rules of Talkaoke: no fighting, no sinking. Before we get into this, okay? It's getting heated. Let's calm it. Yeah, let's go, my friend.
I agree with the point over here, but I would extend that and say that we need to make things that are better for the environment much more convenient, because the reason people choose the £50 flight, the reason people choose to do this, that and the other, is because they are quicker and more convenient. I think if we really put our engineering and scientific power into something that is more convenient and better for the consumer, we will all win out, and that's down to the technology companies, that's down to the designers and the engineers that are out there.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to come to Mia, and then we're going to come to Kate.
Well, sometimes the more environmentally friendly things we don't really know about. So, for example, plastic water bottles, they're everywhere, but you might not know that they're actually canned water, but they don't sell them anywhere, so you don't really know about them.
Yeah, good point, Mia. Over to Kate now. We're going to come to you after, my friend.
There is a danger in taxing environmentally damaging things, because what it becomes is, so say aviation, it's my bugbear, my personal one. If we make flying incredibly expensive, then you're taxing poor people, basically. It means that poor people can't go on holidays, but rich people can carry on spending and being as dangerous and as damaging as they want. So you have to look at ways of creating a more level playing field. 100%. So, for example, a friend of mine is working on a project where everybody in the UK gets 1 tax-free flight a year. But then, so if you go on 1 holiday a year, you get your one cheap flight a year. You can do that. So we're not penalising people for not being as rich. But then people who fly really regularly have a sort of higher scale of tax. The more you do it, the more you are penalised.
And they get the air miles as well.
Well, okay, we should get rid of that because that's encouraging it. That's encouraging. But it's just this sort of, it's trying to level the playing field so you're not penalising people who don't have money.
So maybe less penalising people for purchasing things that are environmentally damaging and more rewarding people for using environmentally friendly things. Okay, all right, we're making moves here, people. You heard it here first. That's what we're doing. What are your thoughts? What do you guys think of that? Are you off, Naomi? Give us one last final thought before you leave.
I've really enjoyed this, and thank you for
amazing stuff. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Round of applause for Naomi there. Absolutely fantastic. So guys, what do you think? Should we carry on this talk about environment? Should we take it somewhere new? Yeah, all right, passion from here. What do you want to talk about in the environment? Come join us, talking about the environment. Do you love the environment?
Plastic straws should be banned everywhere.
Oh, okay. Come sit. Do you use plastic straws? Not anymore. Come sit down. That's what we're talking about, all right? Yes, my friends.
They found out that there's this enzyme, and it can eat up plastic straws in a few days instead of 400 years. Actually.
It takes 4 years?
No, 400 years.
400 years?
For a normal straw left on the beach, it will take 400 years to become atoms scattered everywhere.
Do you think that's something people think about?
This enzyme can eat it up in a few days.
I tell you what, you might have a future as a politician, all right? You're like passionate on everything you say. But what do you think about that?
I think the big thing is obviously technology or discovering and research and how and thing, but that's still not saying, that's not taking plastic out of our system. We need a lot less single-use anything. Anything that is single-use is damaging. What's the point of something that you use once and throw away? You've used all of that materials, petrochemicals, all the energy it takes to recycle it, all of that. Anything single-use bad, and straws is a massive example of that.
Okay, now we're going to come to you in a second, Jack, but we have a lot of new faces at the table, all right? So we want to give them a big Talkaoke welcome. So what we're going to do, that's right, people, we are going to go around the table and introduce everyone's names, all right? We will start here and we'll work around. What's your name, my friend?
Hello, my name is Jack.
Jack.
Charlotte.
Charlotte.
I'm Pat.
Pat.
Lola.
Lola.
Gary.
Gary. Oh, embarrassed. That's okay. What's your name, my friend?
Dab's dad.
Dab's dad, Mr. Dab. This is Dab Man, in case you haven't met him. It's okay. Dab Man.
Chloe.
What was that, sorry?
Chloe.
Chloe, yeah.
Dab Man.
Dab Man still.
Sharon.
Sharon.
Oscar.
Oscar.
David.
David.
Mia.
Mia.
Axeman.
Axeman.
Kate.
Kate. And we've already got Jack. I am Will. Oh, we already have had Jack. That's right. All right. My name is Will. That is Rick behind the camera there. This is Talkaoke. It's a pop-up talk show. We can talk about what we like. And in a minute, we've been talking about plastic straws, haven't we? All right. And we're talking about so
Mathematics.
you want to talk about mathematics? Oh, whoa. Okay. All right. Bit of a change there. Okay. What? Are we fans of maths here? Do we like maths? Do we not? Who's a fan of maths? All right. Yeah. Oscar's a fan of maths. Do you like maths?
Yeah.
What about maths do you like, Oscar?
A lot.
A lot.
All of it.
What is it? The numbers? Cool. Mainly the numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it about maths that people like? Do you think? Yeah.
Algebra.
Algebra. Oh, okay. Controversial. You guys go. The Dabman family, give us one final thought before you leave.
Well, we're coming back next time.
You're coming back next time. That's the right answer. Brilliant stuff. We will see you tomorrow. Have a great time. What do we think then? Do you like maths over here? Do you like maths?
No.
No, not a fan. Why don't you like maths?
I don't know. It's just boring.
It's just boring. Oh, it's controversial over here.
I mean, I study maths and I really love it because it's my passion. And it's not about algebra, calculus. It's more about ideas and imagination.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Because that's not two words you hear very often, imagination and maths together. I'm not saying you're wrong, I think those are great two words, but what would you rather do instead of maths then? Like,
it's all different passions, isn't it? Some people have passions for math. That's the beauty of humanity. Some people are interested in maths, some people are interested in science, some people are even interested in literature, which I'm not. But it's all different interests, and that's the beauty of us.
Do you think that's how we should measure education, on passion?
Of course.
Is that what we should do it on, or what are our thoughts? Yeah. So if like somebody's passionate about maths, we should just teach them maths.
I think they teach maths in a wrong way all over the globe. That's why students don't love it, because they teach it as a tool. So they teach it only when it has some applications or when you have to solve some problems. But I think they should force children to think about new ideas, to prove theories, and that will make maths more interesting.
Well, what do we think this is just maths, or do we think lots of other lessons are taught in the wrong way? Do we think that plays a big part? Okay, that looks like an opinion over here. We're going to come here and there.
I'm a teacher, so I'm always going to say things are taught well, obviously.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Going back to the maths thing, I think maths can be enjoyable if people have a passion for problem solving, and it is totally relevant to your everyday life. So whether you like it or dislike it, you need to use it in everyday life. So it is a skill that needs to be taught.
Yeah, it needs to be.
You have to embrace maths. It's something that you have to use daily, and it gets your brain working.
But do we think technology's taken away the need to learn about maths, though?
Yeah.
I'm just a man with a mic. Just remember that. Or I'm just throwing the questions out there. Okay.
I just think that sometimes maths is a bit divisive.
Oh, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. There's a pun over whenever a lot of people say that. Yeah. Now you get it, Mia.
So about the point about education, about how it's taught. One thing I would definitely say that has been wrongly taught, especially in this country, growing up here, is history. In terms of history and in terms of even the black history of our world, I think it's been wrongly taught. It's been atrociously taught, even, because to know that only the transatlantic slave trade and other than that is the only history that's available, I think that's preposterous. That shouldn't be the case, because there was a lot more history before the transatlantic slave trade.
Yeah. We'll come to Mia first.
Well, it all depends on what kind of teacher you have as well, because sometimes they'll be like very passionate and you can tell, and then they'll go into depth and you'll enjoy it more. So you'll learn more. But then if you can tell that they don't really care about it, then you'll kind of get bored of it and you won't really like the subject.
Interesting. So, but do we think why is it then that teachers might find certain things boring? Do you think that's restricted by the national curriculum? What do we think about this?
Going back to your point, often we don't have a choice in terms of what we're allowed to teach. We are dictated by the government what's on a syllabus. I totally agree. Our hands are tied in terms of what we can deliver, not how we can deliver, but what we can deliver.
So let me throw it back at you. If you had a choice, if you could mandate the government, if you could sit down, May, and go, May, this is what I want, what would be your ideal educational system? Well, I'm really putting you on the spot now with this one.
One that's inclusive, because I think at the moment it's not inclusive for all. The education system that we currently have, it's totally centralised and it doesn't suit every learner. And that's the problem.
Exactly. So what's the solution to this problem then? Like, how do we go about? We've figured out a solution. How do we go about making that change? What do we do?
At the end of the day, maybe localized education being taught as a community based, because at the end of the day, certain place there should be sort of a central side to it as well, but there should definitely be a local side maybe to education, to maybe get the actual real needs and the passions of the area heard and taught well.
Do you guys enjoy school? Do you enjoy school right now?
Yeah.
Yeah? What do you like about school? We talk a lot about the negatives of it, but what do we enjoy about it?
I like meeting up with my friends.
Yeah, playtime. Yeah, it's always a solid favourite, that mine, playtime. What about you? You still at school?
Pardon?
You still at school?
Yeah.
Do you enjoy school?
Certain subjects I prefer to others.
What are your favourite subjects?
I like English.
English, okay.
I don't mind maths. I mean, some parts of it are easier, and I prefer the easier parts more than the complicated parts, because they're a lot harder and they require more effort to do.
We had an interesting one earlier talking about how things change over time. We're talking about how technology changes. And one thing that's going through our mind is, how do you think education's changed? Is it different from when you got when the older sort of generation was at school to what everyone else is going through now? Is it better? Is it worse? Have we made progress with education?
Back to old systems, to be honest. So the way the government have set the mandate, we've now got to go back to learning rote fashion, heavy content syllabuses, and quite academic learning. So those who are not academic learners won't succeed.
What government have we had for the last 7 years, 8 years? At the end of the day, it's the government, and I don't think the government they haven't really shown interest in what the people want. I definitely think is what they want, and that's not the case, you know.
Yeah. Now, David, you've been silently bruising in the corner. You thought I'd forgotten about him. I haven't forgotten about him. I see you there. What? Yeah. Let's get a final thought, and then we're going to come save a final thought about what anything.
Well, there should be a lot more holding hands and a lot more togetherness in terms of everything. Like, as I said about the local learning, I definitely think communities should have a lot more say in terms of what they want to get taught and how they get it taught.
Amazing stuff. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. You've been amazing, my friend. Now, David, I still haven't forgotten about you. You, that cheeky smiler there. Come sit down, yeah? Come sit down. That's no problem. We're going to come to David, then we'll come over to you. Oh, do not worry. We will get to your point, David. Let's get a final thought. A final thought. You've been nominated as the family representative, I'm afraid. What's your final... It doesn't have to be about what we spoke about. It could be what you're up to next.
How are you?
What do you want to do later on? What are you looking forward to?
This evening, going out for some food.
Oh, okay. Enjoy that food, guys. Have a fantastic time. You know, final thought as well, my friends. I want to hear your ideas, David.
My opinion is everyone should love maths. Because it can have serious consequences of saving our humanity, or like, so maths is something to be loved.
Okay, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day, my friend. Now, David, we are coming to you, my friends.
I didn't actually have a point, but based on what the gentleman that just left said, and it's interesting because when I was sitting here earlier as well, it's when people are passionate about something, they seem to want everyone else to believe the same thing as them and have that same passion, and it just doesn't work that way. I mean, my kids, Oscar loves maths, Mia is into art and English and reading and writing more, but that doesn't make one better than the other, or right or wrong.
Yeah.
And I think people should be encouraged to do what they like, but obviously with children it's difficult because you want to give them different experiences. They might not know what they like and don't like, so they have to have the opportunity to sample different things. And again, you know, the teachers have a difficult job. Like that lady said, a lot of the stuff is kind of mandated on them. So, got to give them a break sometimes as well.
Definitely. Now, we've got two new faces at the table. What are your names? What's your name?
Angard.
Angard. Lovely to meet you.
Annika.
Annika. We have Jack, we have David, we have Mia, we have Oscar. My name is Will. That is the magic man, Rick, behind the camera there. This is Talkaoke. It's a pop-up talk show. And in a minute, we're talking about a lot about education and teaching at the moment. Do you like school? Yeah, what do you like about school?
I like to play with my friends and my monsters, and it's so fun that I play with my truck and the digger.
Now, I'm not going to lie, playtime is looking like a favourable subject right about now. I think most people getting A stars in that if it was. Now, guys, we've got about 10-15 minutes left. Is that right, Rick? Yeah, we've got about 10-15 minutes left. What do you guys want to talk about? Do we want to carry on with education? Do we want to change it to something different? Do we want to bring it up? Do we want to bring it down? Powers in yours. What was that, sorry?
One last thing.
What do you want to talk about, Oscar?
I don't know.
Okay. Should we talk about putting people on the spot? Is that what we talk about? You know, putting pressure on? What do you guys want to talk about? It's up to you. Yes, Jack.
I would like to talk about kindness, and I would love to hear the kindest thing that someone has seen someone do in the last few weeks.
Okay, so has anybody seen somebody do something really kind in the last few weeks? Actually, before we do this, I'm going to turn the mirror back on you, Jack. I'm going to ask you, what is the kindest thing you've seen someone do in the last couple of weeks?
Well, I've got a friend who doesn't live in London, but he's actually working in London this weekend, and he really needed somewhere to stay. And so, out of the kindness of my heart, I let that person stay at my house.
Now, just to fill everyone on the table, said person may very well be sat in a swivelly chair right about now. Okay, so it's maybe a slightly biased opinion that we throw out at the table there. I mean, this is a Talkaoke first, you know, throwing shade at the host, but that's okay. This is what Talkaoke is about. But let's open it out to everyone else, all right? We're going to ignore the person who's bigging themselves up in the corner, all right? I'm going to turn my back on him as host. No, I'm joking. Everyone's welcome at Talkaoke. But what is the kindest thing people have seen then? What do you think? It could be something as simple as picking up litter on the street. What do you guys think?
I have everybody from my Montessori and my swimming class and all my classes, and also I have everybody from my Forest.
So you just help everyone, don't you? Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's a swimming class, it's school, if it's from home. You just love helping people. Do we think we need more of that? Do we need to help each other as human beings?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't we then? Why don't we help each other? Yeah.
Well, because to everyone, their life is more important, so they'll focus on what they do, and kind of everyone else will just be like they're there, but not really taken into account.
And why do we think that is? Why do we think we don't take notice of other people walking round? Any thoughts, guys? I mean, Jack brought it, don't blame me, Jack brought it to this level, alright, that's his fault, okay? He brought it down to this deep level. Why don't we think we help each other as human beings anymore? Where are we going?
We've just become too busy. Everybody's become too busy and does not take notice of what's happening around them. And most of the time on the streets is usually people are on their phones. They're just not looking up.
This is interesting. We're at a technology festival, okay? We've been talking about the pros of technology all day, and now we're bringing it down to actually, do we need to strip back that technology to allow kindness into our lives?
I think that kindness does still exist, and I just think that we are, because everyone is much more connected into things like Facebook and the news more than people were in the past. Like the news used to be like you turn on the TV at 6 o'clock and that's the news, or you pick up the newspaper at the newsstand and that's the news. These days everyone's scrolling through their phones, and that means that there's a lot more influence on our lives and people are telling us what we should believe. I actually and then that kind of perpetuates the point that everyone thinks that there's not a lot of kindness anymore, and actually I see kindness every day, and I see politeness and friendliness and happiness every single day, and we just don't talk about it anymore. That's the thing that goes by the by. We talk about how we talk about that rude person, but we never talk about that polite person, and I think that needs to change.
We need more people letting people stay at houses. That's what we need.
But that's just, unfortunately, that is human nature, isn't it? You focus on the bad things. No matter what you have, you always want more. You always remember the bad things more than you remember the good things. I don't know, I heard somewhere, I don't know if it's a true measured fact, that it takes something like 20 good experiences to outbalance one bad experience.
Wow.
And you'll remember the bad things a lot more. And how do you change that? I don't know, but
it says a lot about us as a species, doesn't it? Yeah. Yes, Mia.
Well, sometimes, as you were saying, there's a lot of little kind things, and I think we don't really focus on those little things, like someone letting you through the door first, or something simple like that can just like brighten your day or something.
Yeah, just simple acts of kindness.
Hi, I'm Tanuj. There's been a very recent study by Harvard University. Kindness actually is contagious. So all the things that you're saying, kind of pay it forward or hold the door for someone. It actually makes you do more of that. So, and yeah, I think it's just about tilting the hedges against, being not kind. So
it's kind of like a smile. When someone smiles and you just can't help but go, oh, I see you. Yeah, it's like that. Kindness is infectious.
Just also to counteract the idea that Londoners can't do kindness and things. I once hiked around London and we camped in strangers' back gardens.
Wow.
For a week, and people were amazing.
Well, Jack was just saying about how he lets people stay at his house. You could have camped in his back garden.
No,
yeah, there you go. See, Londoners.
We exchanged we did jobs for them. We cooked them their dinner over in their own gardens, things like that. So yeah, it was an exchange of kindness and sociability.
Wow. Well, do you think Londoners are kind? Do you think people in London are nice?
Yeah, I know that, but I also see that London Eye and another one that has vehicles on it, and it goes around and I get really dizzy that I don't know where I'm going.
he misheard Londoners as London Eye.
That's okay. Although
Londoners can be disorientating too.
Yeah, it does raise a good point, because people do change and get less calm when they get behind a car though, don't they? Oh yeah, everyone looks to the right. Forget about we said that one there.
Well, sometimes it also depends how many people are in the area, so in a town. So for example, if you live in a small area, like you probably know lots of people in your neighbourhood or something, but then London, because it's such a big place, there's so many people everywhere, it's harder to talk to people, because you probably won't see them again, but it's still nice to talk to them and be nice.
Well, look at us, we're a bunch of strangers, we're doing alright, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to share a fairly personal story, the first time I moved to a big city, just after I finished university, I moved to a big city. It was Manchester, and my personal disposition is to be very friendly and happy with everyone, and I like to talk to people, which is why I'm sat at this very table, and my brain kind of like exploded a little bit because I was like, I want to say hi to everyone, I want to get to know everyone, and then there's just like loads of people, and it just ends up being unsustainable. And that's why I guess you stand on the tube and your like face is next to someone else's face, and you don't feel like you can speak to them because you're never going to see them again, but you're in this intimate situation which you'd not be in with anyone else. And so yeah, it's definitely one of those challenging things.
Yeah.
Not to say hello.
But okay, you don't need to greet everyone in the city, but there are those moments where you have a little shared moment where you bump into someone, or you both laugh at something on the street, and it's just those eye contacty, smiley little moments that sort of alleviate the intensity of cities. And I think that's really important. I'm a Londoner, but I now live in the countryside, so I love coming back to London going hi to everyone and freaking them out completely. It's brilliant.
Guys, do you know what? Oh yeah, we've got another point over here.
I just want to say that my personal theory is that London is an abstraction of the whole of world, because people from all over the world are here, and generally people inherently or at innate level are kind to each other or nice to each other. I mean, no matter how separated the countries might be, people, I mean, I come from India, there is a huge hue and cry about, Indians hating Pakistanis, etc. But generally people are very nice to each other, etc.
Yeah.
So it's actually that plays out. Of course, the more you stay close to each other, probably you learn the negative things, and kind of that grows onto you. So, but for that small moment, generally the best feelings of the people come out. So hence I think Londoners are.
Wow, what a fact. Do you know what, guys? Do you know what? I'm absolutely gutted, but we are coming to the end now, alright? Before we go though, do you know what I want to do, alright? It's been such a lovely little moment at the end there, including Rick. Rick, get out from that camera, come sit down at this table, alright? You think you could hide away, I see you. Alright, what we're going to do is we are going to get one round of final thoughts, guys, alright? It can be anything. It can be about what we've spoken about, what you're going to do next, what you're looking forward to, what you want to change in the world, what your dreams are, anything you like. It is up to you. Start with yourself, my friend. I put you on the spot.
I just say be nice to people because it comes around.
Lovely, thank you.
It's really nice, this entire discussion that you're having, especially for the kids. I think it's just amazing to get them talking, get their thoughts. So it's really nice. I hope you do this more often.
Yeah.
I think the city will be nice, and I think they won't be bad, and I think the ground won't be bad, and I think it's good to be here.
Oh, thank you. Oscar, my man. Ooh, that was me, not you. Don't worry, okay?
I think even if you just see a random person that's just, I don't know, drop something, it's always nice to just help them out.
Yeah, thank you. Mia, hit me up.
Say hi to someone you don't know today.
Nice, thank you. Good bit of advice. Go on, David, bring it home.
Everyone said all the great things. This has been a brilliant show. Thank you to you for hosting.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you. Coming over to Kate.
No, we're just a lovely bunch, aren't we?
Yeah.
Well done, us.
Jack, bringing it in.
Well done, everyone. We often talk about things we want to do in the future.
Yeah.
Today is a good day to start that.
Yeah, no pressure, bringing it home for everyone, Rick.
Oh, finishing on me. Well, every time we do Imperial Festival, I think this might be the 4th time we've done it, maybe 5th. And it's always great. I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Guys, you guys have been fantastic. I've been Will, it's been Kate, it's been Rick. Give yourselves a big round of applause. This has been Talkaoke. Come back tomorrow if you want some more. Alright, thank you so much, guys.